Okay, welcome to episode 8. So in this episode, I'm just going to touch on support and resistance. So for me, support and resistance is something that's only valid if you're in that particular market phase. So a lot of people I know, they tend to say support and resistance is something that's always present. For me, it is, but technically speaking, it isn't. So you can see here, when we use US dollar CAD as an example, from September onwards, you can see we're just trading bullish. We run into our first, what you'd say, area of resistance for me around this area here, and then we have our first, what I'd say, area of support, say around this region here. So support and resistance ties into market phases, which is going to be the next episode. So for me right now, support and resistance is just one, it's only valid in one market phase. It's not really present in a trending market in terms of should I be buying and selling highs and lows, because you won't see, when markets are trending, you obviously see support and resistance valid, but you won't see support and resistance like this. So, and for me, this is the only way to trade support and resistance, when you have a clear high that's holding in place and you have a clear low that's holding in place. And all you're simply doing is trying to sell high in regards to the range and buy low in regards to the range. So when we're looking at overall structure and price, you can see once we broke this area, what did we do? We traded lower, we ran up. Obviously, you can see minor resistance, minor support. But for me, that's not, you're going to have millions of support and resistances. For me, I only look at where the market for me is showing me support and resistance is now valid, in terms of we have a equilibrium of highs and lows, that price is not moving. So you can see throughout US dollar CAD as an example, from September, we didn't really have any more, I'd say, support and resistance. The market was trending. We're either trending up or we're trending down. We've just got minor support and resistances, which for me are not worth plotting out. Again, when you look at this example of price here, that's something where I would apply, again, support and resistance. You've got a high that is holding in place. You've also got a low that's holding in place. So you see there's a range happening. So you've got a clear indication of a range. So even when you zoom out and we have a look at what I define as a range, or what I define as support and resistance that you can take advantage of, then you can see the characteristics in the price action. So when we go back to this area of US dollar CAD, you can see we had a support and resistance. Price breaks out, has that retest structure, which we're always looking for. Once we break out, we've got that retest structure. On this occasion here, price retested the 0.5%, just shy of 61.8. You had great reversal structure, and then we've dropped down to our targets. Am I going to just say for no reason this is a support area? That's not how I look at the market. So for me, the different market participants are always changing. So then we go into US dollar CAD again. How would I look at this? For me, that is a range, because we've got basically you've got a macro range inside a smaller range. So I'll explain what I mean. You can see here we've got an area on US dollar CAD where price is failing to move, but an area where we can take advantage of that for me is in here, where you see we've got a high and we've got a low. Price is ranging, it breaks out, retest, it continues lower. Even for me in this area here, we've got a high, price is failing to break. We've got a low that price is bouncing off. So that's the kind of area where I would say support and resistance can be valid. Again, another example here, we've got this low here where price was ranging between, we had a break below and we dropped down. You see another example here, we've got this high and then we've got this low, and then we see again that nice example of price consolidating, breakout, retest, and then we see price drop down. So it's not always where you're going to look at and say, if we head into, say, for example, our weekly chart, you can look at a lot of things like a range. That's the reason why I don't like to just say, oh, let's just map out highs and lows, because technically speaking, price was ranging here. You can say price is, if you look at a higher and higher time frame, you can always say price is ranging between X and Y, which is why I like to apply my support and resistance levels a little bit more precise. So I'm looking for consolidation. So I'm looking for where price consolidates, which are going to again tie into our market phase. And then that's where we're looking for those breakouts and the retest. So support and resistance isn't something you should get too hang up on or trying to find so many support and resistance levels. It should be something that price lets you know is constant. So like I said, we had this high here. For me, there isn't really a constant low. We've got a support area, say here, and then we've got a support area here, a support area here. So the only thing that was constant in this is the resistance. The resistance area is not changing. We're staying around 1.33. That is where price is failing or struggling to remain above. Where that drop's coming down to is changing. So for example, this might be the bottom now. So the support is not constant, but the resistance is. So that's what you're looking for. You're looking for, when you're drawing a support and resistance, you're looking for an area of price that has two constants, where you've got a high and you've got a clear low. So moving on to say another example we could look at is euro pound on the monthly, or even to stress my point a bit further, yeah, you could even look at euro pound on the quarterly chart. So when we're looking at this on the quarterly charts, each candle is 3 months. You can see that high and that low. So right now we've got a quarterly range. So this is a massive range in price. When we go down to our monthly chart, you can still see the range is still firmly in price. We're still holding. So this is what I call a valid range. You can see this overall, the market is ranging. We're in a range environment overall. When we go to our weekly, can we really see instances of a ranged market? For me, we're trading bullish, but gradually trading bearish. We have resistance, but I wouldn't class that as a range. Even this period here, for me, I don't class it as a range, because we had price moving lower, price moving higher. It's just choppy to me. It's just choppy. What I would class as a range or valid support and resistance is when you see price behave like this. So when we've seen, for example, we've got this high here, and then we've got even say this low here, you can see that price is respecting both support and resistance. So those are the areas where I say it's valid for you to say, okay, I can draw support and resistance. Even another example would be here, because it's all right knowing where there's support and resistance, but how do you trade it? Because I see many traders have so many lines, so many support and resistance lines. The market is always changing. Support and resistance is always changing. So you want to stick with the support or resistance that is going to give you the highest probability of being correct, or highest probability of being able to trade that support and resistance. So on this example, you can see you can sell the high, you can buy the low until you get that break. You can sell the high, you can buy the low until you see price breaks out. And then we're trending. So again, this is going to tie in greatly into our next video, which is going to cover market phases. So I just thought I'd introduce you into my concept of support and resistance, and I hope you found this episode useful. Thanks for watching.